watching, and those 2 minutes, you're not happy with those 2 minutes, and those 2 minutes then turn into another hour and a half, and you end up missing appointments, you miss wherever you're supposed to be, or you put things off, or you phone up and cancel things and you go and do another hour and a half or whatever. That might seem obsessive to some people, but to others that gives you the right and the peace of mind to sit there in the evening and relax, and if there's any evening left, and watch the telly and actually have a clear mind, and sleep well that night. If I don't kick well, then I'm so anxious I end up waking up early anyway and go and doing that extra hour and a half, at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning anyway.
That's what he is. He's totally obsessive about being the #1 person in the world in his game. But that's what I should imagine if you know Tiger Woods, any of these guys, they'd all be the same. They'd be the same animals.
Singling out one player for such praise could demoralise a normal team. But Wilkinson epitomises what England have become. Only France stood in the way of England's march to the final. By now, the French were the darlings of the tournament. The clash was billed as Gallic flair versus English functionality. Many tipped flair to win. But England had gone beyond the old cliché. They were a team immersed in the culture of winning, who relished and responded to pressure.
It is now where a real champion team, real champion leaders really front up. Now it's a little bit of pressure. Now is the time where we're really, the top sides will really circle the wagons, become very tight. Let's be brutally honest, we're playing France on Sunday. We know their side. We've beaten them regularly. They're already talking about winning World Cups. We're not. We're talking about the next game, and that's France. And we get this week right. This will be one of the best weeks ever in English rugby.
On the day of the game, the rains came to Sydney.
We were like, happy days, we don't mind this weather, and I'm sure the French were probably cowering, going, why did they have to rain on this particular day?
I think England especially has no fear of the French. It's a team we want to play against. We thought we were fitter, faster, stronger, and more mobile than them all around the pitch.
All week, the French forwards were abusing our forwards, saying how good they were, and Harry Nordique was just giving it all. And where were they? The last thing you want to do, when you got big mutes like lol, I was going to say Backy. you know, I say Backy's small, but he's evil. And you try and fire them up even more and make them want to kill you. What are you doing?
An early French try belied England's mastery of the conditions and their opponents. This pressure brought out an inner steel that goes by the coyest acronym imaginable, teacup.
Teacup, which is a very English word which I'm very proud of. And what is T-cup? And it's thinking correctly under pressure. And the best players, the real winners, are those who think correctly.
Even though you might be feeling nervous and you see your shirt moving, as your heart's beating, you understand that it's okay to feel nervous, and people say you can shut out the noise of the crowd, but I mean, it's rubbish. You can hear the crowd all the time. You just understand that doesn't have to matter if you don't want it to.
Well, teacup to me and Will might mean something else, actually.
Just come with a scone.
England's pack, with Delalio on fire, drove the French backwards and out of the tournament.
We started to dominate territory and get the edge in possession, and we just knew then we had a bit of a hole in them, and Wilco kept sticking the knife in with 3-pointers.
He's second on the bench, and it's England.
Wilkinson kicked all 24 of England's winning tally. But this was no one-man show. It was England's most towering team performance.
And the forwards were absolutely awesome that day. And the amount of ball they gave Johnny and myself to do whatever we wanted to with was just phenomenal.
We put Mike Tyndall on and he smashed it up, and we got on top of them right at the end, and I think with 15 minutes to go, they were never coming back.
The final would pit them against Australia. England had been here before in 1991 and lost. But this team wouldn't let itself be distracted by anything.
What will happen as of tomorrow morning, I swear to me tonight, will just be chaos. It's absolutely absolutely critical now. We just put everything on hold for 1 week. Everybody, all 30 players, everyone in the room. And we've just got to be stronger, bloody-minded, piss the press off, everything else. Because they're going to be everywhere. The key word is just N-O.
Australia, a sports-mad nation, addicted to winning. Holders of the World Cup, its team triumphant over the All Blacks in the other semi-final, and playing at home. If Woodward had wanted the most extreme test for the team, he now had it. They were comfortable with the expectation.
My view is you've got to make playing in these big games as normal, as natural as possible. And when the kind of wives and girlfriends come over, I think a lot of people are surprised to see them around the hotel and the players with them, but that's how we operate. And you just got to treat them like adults. I trust these guys totally, and they know how to operate. They will not let the team down.
The England medical team had worked miracles. All 30 players were fit for the final. Woodward could pick whoever he wanted.
Too many surprises on there in terms of what we've been thinking. Again, I've just got to reiterate, you fellas down here, you know, it's not easy. I know how you're feeling, and all I want to just reiterate to you is absolutely critical to the team that you still prepare yourself properly. Anything can happen.
I've always almost dreamed about this, funny enough. You know, I thought, you know, one of the things I'd love to do was to be announced a World Cup final 15, and that's what happened. But in the real world, you see, you've got 15 people on the ceiling. Wow, this is it. We've worked all our lives for this. You've got another 7 people, the bench, who are not quite on the ceiling, but at least they're involved, they're going to be there, they're going to probably take a part of it. In terms of the World Cup, you've then got 8 players who are on the floor. I've just given the worst news of probably their lives in that one moment. How that team reacts then, that moment, can cost you the World Cup one way or the other. You can lose the World Cup on that one moment.
This World Cup is over on Monday. Can't do anything better than spending 24 hours on a plane, trying back to England with that cup. And it'll be won or lost by the 30 players. And how you fellas there react now.
The real heroes were the 8 guys not involved. The way they trained that week, your people like Abbott and your Shaws and these guys were just fantastic. They were never late for a meeting. They were dressed in absolutely the right kit. They took full part in the training. There wasn't a single not a single player has ever questioned that decision to me. That is all down to teamship rules, because they don't want to let the team down. Now they're gutted. I know how they feel because I'm a player. I know how I would have felt. That is how strong it is, and that's something I'm very, very proud of, and in a way more proud of those 8 players than the actual 15 who played.
Saturday, the 22nd of